Hey team, it's Jenny here. Happy Wednesday. You'll be watching this video recorded probably on Wednesday as we're doing a pre-recorded webinar this week. However, some of you who are coming to Indiana Super Sunday are actually going to see this content live on Sunday. So what I'm doing is I'm actually practicing for my presentation at Super Sunday, which is this exact presentation. But I figured why not record it for practice and then give it out to you guys as our webinar for this week so that you can either watch it again and take notes, at least have it on hand to send to your coaches and refer back to, or if nothing else, if you're not coming to Super Sunday, actually have something to make you feel like you were part of the energy there. So certainly attending live events, attending things like Super Sunday, Super Saturday, Summit, stuff like that is just super important for you to grow your business. Live events are my jam. I love being there. I love being around the energy of other people. Hopefully, even if you're not in Indiana, you made the effort to go somewhere near you. So I'm so happy that we have such a big team and big representation at our Indiana Super Saturday, but it's even cooler when we have coaches all over attending local events. So what I'd like to do is I'm actually going to skip part of the activity that I would be doing at Super Sunday, but I am going to just dive right in. So I'm going to be talking to everybody, including you, about becoming stronger every day. Some of you guys who attended our team summit have most likely, heard a little bit of this before as far as how, the theme for this year for Beachbody is being stronger every day. Like stronger every day is the hashtag, it is the theme. And really, I like the idea of just simply saying we have to be stronger every day, right? If we want to help other people become stronger every day, that starts with us. It starts with us not only in our own health and fitness, but also in our personal development and our leadership. So what I'd like to do today is really dive into sort of what that looks like. I know that it might seem uncomfortable for some of you, but what I'd like to do is really drive home the point that working on yourself is by far the best thing for you to work on in this business. So you guys already know who I am because I'm your team leader, so I don't have to dive through that, but let me click on slideshow and we'll get started. Okay, so you guys already, whoa, why is it not working? That's weird. Here we go. Okay, so you guys already know who I am. So you might remember at Team Summit, we did a little activity where I had you sort of act out what it would be like to greet somebody who you don't really care to see, right? So a lot of you found somebody in the crowd, you went up to them and you said like, hey, how's it going? I had you kind of put some acting into your energy for the day. And then after that, I had you do the same, go up to the same person, but instead you were supposed to greet them as if they were your long lost friend from childhood. So we had lots of laughter erupt and people started hugging each other. It was just a totally different experience in the room. That's the same activity that I plan on doing on Sunday with our Super Sunday event, just to show people that you are in charge of the energy that you bring into the room. And this goes for Facebook conversations. This goes for all of your social media interactions. And of course it goes, when you're in public, but you are the one that brings the energy. And so if we're thinking about bringing customers and challengers and coaches into what we have to offer, we have to be high energy. We have to be sort of on. We have to be able to answer their questions. We have to have a smile on our face. We have to be good conversationalists and good communicators. So if you're not that way now, you have to work on it yourself, right? And even if you consider yourself a good communicator, you have to be working on bettering that all the time. So whatever you want more of in this business, you have to give it, right? If you want a mentor, you have to be a mentor to somebody else. If you want more praise for what you're doing, give more praise to others. If you want the world to be better, you have to become better. So I heard this on a podcast recently with Chalene Johnson, where she literally said, instead of complaining about what it is you want, just give it. Just give the same thing that you're wanting in return, and the world and the universe will repay the favor to you. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen this image before. It makes me laugh. But the number one thing that could be holding you back is you. Right? Like every time I see this picture, I crack up because it's so true. 90% of the time, if I ever see a coach not progress their business forward, it's because they're holding themselves back. It could be because they're not willing to invest in themselves and invest in the energy that it takes to really grow. It could be that they have mental blocks in their mind or confidence issues holding them back. And rather than take that head on and work on it, they decide to let it interfere with their progress. So my hope for you today is that I can motivate you and inspire you to take the third vital behavior, which is, personal development, and to really run with it, to really make focusing on you and your growth the center of your business, okay? It could be all in your head as far as what's holding you back. So how do you move past your plateau? Some of you guys know my story. I sat at diamond rank for over 2 years before I advanced to a star diamond rank. And I got to the point where I realized that my business wasn't moving forward because I wasn't moving forward, because I was really stuck. I was doing the same personal development. I was reading a little bit each day, but I really wasn't pushing myself in that area. My other vital behaviors, I was really kind of blowing past, right? I was rocking my fitness, rocking my nutrition. I was even doing lots of invites to put the business out there, but I was not blowing my personal development out of the water. And that's what I needed to be doing. And so when I totally embraced this concept of working on myself, my business exploded. Okay, so I want to define for you what personal development is by definition, because I think when we say be proof the products work, that's an action, right? That means I'm going to press play on my workout every day and drink a shake. But what does personal development mean? What is the definition of personal development? I define it as being the act of seeking growth and improvement in life, business, relationships, and leadership. Those are the 4 territories that I think we have to cover. So it's synonymous with just simply becoming better, becoming a better business person, a better wife or husband or spouse or son or daughter, and becoming a better leader to you and to your team. You guys have heard me say this before, so it goes without saying that personal development is, in my opinion, the most underperformed vital behavior. We did our recognition earlier today, and you saw people stand up if they had achieved emerald rank. People stand up if they had achieved diamond rank and star diamond rank. And what do you notice typically? You typically notice that there are fewer people who stand up for star diamond recognition. I believe that the people who are advancing their businesses are also the people who are advancing their lives, their relationship, and their leadership, which means they're the same people who are doing personal development every single day. So I'm going to go ahead and address this objection because I get this a lot from my own coaches, and I hear this a lot from other coaches, and that is, I just really don't like to read. I don't know, I'm just not a reader. And that just drives me freaking crazy. Like, can I just tell you, because that's like a challenger saying to you, I did get my shake in today, but I'm not really an exerciser. I don't know, do you have any suggestions on how I can move my fitness forward, right? If you're wanting to move your business forward, you got to move you forward. So start making this personal development journey analogous to your fitness journey. Do it anyway. Do it in the early morning when nobody's bothering you, or do it late at night. Get it in. Just like you're pressing play, you've got to press play on that podcast, and you've got to open that book and read it every single day. So let's start here with our content for today, okay? I want you to know this. There are things that you don't know, okay? I realize that could come as a shock to some of you. I realize that, some of you think that you do know everything. As my mom says, she says, Jenny thinks she always knows everything. So I totally can side with you on that. But you don't know what you don't know, okay? There are a lot of things that I have learned about myself that I didn't know when I started my personal development journey. There's a lot of stuff about myself that I don't like. There's a lot of stuff about myself that I do like. But the bottom line is that you just simply don't know what you don't know, okay? That is sort of the introduction to personal development. You don't know until you embrace it. I talk about how I have, my sort of beginning with personal development came with The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. I was reading it on an airplane, and that was the moment that I realized that prior to that moment of me reading that book, I didn't know that I was in charge of my own improvement and my own growth until I opened that book, right? That's just an example, but you don't know what you don't know. So we're starting there. So the best way, in my opinion, for you to be successful in this business is to get to know yourself so well that when it comes to getting to know other people, you can anticipate who those people are, what they stand for, what they're motivated by, what they're driven by, how they act, interact, and communicate, because you know how you do, right? You can sort of look at them and say, this is why I resonate with this person. This person is XYZ. I feel like I'm a very good reader of people. but I wasn't a very good reader of people until I became a very good reader of myself. I became a reader of myself because I was a reader. How do you like that for puns? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the perfection gap. Those of you who've participated in a John Maxwell mastermind, this is not a new concept for you, but John Maxwell has, in the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, he talks about different gaps that you can face as a leader. One of them I know that I fell victim to was the perfection gap, which means, you think that you have to be perfect at something or know everything before you begin. And that's just simply not true. If you're thinking, I'm gonna run with this business soon, it's gonna happen. I just need to figure this stuff out first. If you're thinking that way, you've got to change the way you're thinking. You've got to shift your mindset to say, you know what? I'm going to run with this and I'm just going to figure it out and I'm going to be okay with falling on my face and I will improve as I go. That's the reason I'm standing in front of you today, because my number one talent is that I do not quit on myself. My number one talent is that I do not quit on myself. I keep going because I know that I can improve even if I fail. Okay, so this picture here is a picture of an airplane moving through it's actually an actual thing called the terror barrier. And basically, as an airplane flies through the sound barrier, it has to make a decision if it's going to kind of rattle itself through the terror barrier or through that sound barrier, or if it's going to accelerate through it. And what I see in this business is I see a lot of coaches who do their personal development up to that terror barrier. They start to feel their airplane shake and they just say, oh, I think I'm good back here, right? Like I'm going to stay within my comfort zone. What I decided to embrace in early 2015 was that terror barrier. I decided to just plunge right through it, to just accelerate myself right through it, to be okay with learning about my weaknesses and where I just was sucking as a leader. I decided to embrace that, and because of that, I was able to improve and become better. So if you're sitting in the seats today, or if you're listening to this webinar, I want you to think about what your terror barrier is. What is it? What's holding you back? What are the types of things you like to read about? Are you just simply picking books that make you feel good about yourself, or are you picking books to read that really push you out of your comfort zone? So just as a side note, a lot of people talk about how they don't have things to post on their social media, okay? They say things like, I don't know, I just run out of ideas of things to post. Another pet peeve of mine, because if you're actively engaging in personal development every single day, if you're reading and you're listening to podcasts and you're constantly in that positive mindset, you're going to have automatic content that comes rushing to you. My husband's a great example of this. He has not always been the best poster on social media. He has other areas of strengths within our business as a team. But what's interesting is recently he's been posting a lot more. For those of you who follow him, you've probably seen he posts a lot more these days. And I think it's a result of his commitment to personal development. He's been every single night before bed. He reads, even if it's 11:30 at night and he's getting up at 5 a.m. for school, he's reading. He's listening to a podcast on his way to school. Because of that, he's coming up with some really great content in his social media posts. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I think it's something that new coaches say often. Like, well, I just don't know what to post about. It's because you're too worried about posting your sweaty selfie versus sharing something that's inspired you or something that you're thinking about that would inspire others. Okay, so newsflash for you. This is my definition as of coaching, right? Our God-given purpose as coaches, I believe, is to help people improve themselves. Not just their health, but also their mindset and their situation, right? Like we can help them improve their fitness and health through the programs and tools that we offer. We can help them change their mindset and make this a true lifestyle change through some personal growth. And we can help them even in their situation if they're looking to make financial improvements in their life, right? That's our role and responsibility as coaches. So therefore, we must be raising our lid. John Maxwell talks about the law of the lid, right? If you're here, then everybody who is sort of following you most likely has a lid beneath you. So if people are looking to improve their situation, but your leadership lid is at a lower level, and you're not constantly working to raise that lid, which by the way, you can improve the height of your lid. If you're not working to improve that, then other people aren't improving. So I feel that personal development is a responsibility for us as coaches. Okay, so here's some true facts, and then I'm going to dive into sort of my tips for you today. The truth is, I don't know if you guys saw, we got those sort of like year-end review emails at the end of 2015 that talked about how many people we were able to help, etc. And I really liked that email because it was very visual, it was very colorful and pretty, and it made me want to look at it versus numbers. But it did tell me in there that I helped 187 people in 2015. Okay, so that's like one of the first statistics that it shared with me. So I went back through and I took a look at my customers that enrolled in Challenge Packs in 2015. Less than 10% of my 187 people that I helped were people that I reached out to first. So I know that you're about to hear from Erica. Like those of you who are going to Super Sunday, you're going to hear from Erica after me. She's going to be talking about how she recruits and invites. For me, I just don't do that much, right? Like I do invite, but in different ways. I do it through my brand attraction. So what's interesting is that the 90% of the people that I was able to help were people who came to me. And I believe they came to me not because of my before and after photos, not because of my crazy fitness journey, but because of who they saw me becoming, right? The messages that I get from people are always surrounding personal growth, even new coaches who join my team. The things I hear are, you're such an inspirational leader. I hope that someday I can be half the leader that you are, right? What do you recommend I start with for personal development? That's been like the number one question from my new coaches lately. I asked them on an About Me form, what attracted you to this business and to our team? 90% of the time, the answer is, I want to grow myself as a person, not just in my health and fitness, but I want to grow myself as a person. These people are attracted to me because of who they see me becoming, not because of how sweaty I get after a workout. So people are attracted to your journey. If you're not growing, if you're not raising your lid, why would they invest in your help? Why would they want somebody to lead them who isn't leading themselves? So this just goes to prove, this is a before and after photo. I actually just posted it last week, but this made me think when I was posting it, because I really hate posting my before and after photo. Really nothing to do with physical appearance. It doesn't really bother me. I just really worry about people who compare themselves. I worry about people who are lacking self-confidence. I don't want to put this out there and make things worse, right? So I'm always thinking about that when I make my before and after photos and posts. And so in this case, I made this post last week, but I got to thinking, I wonder how many times I've actually shared my before and after photo. And so I actually went back through, I have a folder on my computer that has like all of my images for social media. And so I can only count about a handful of times that I have ever posted a before and after photo. And I will tell you that most of the time that I post them, just a personal preference. Most of the time that I post them with when I have a tank top on or something. I don't always show bikini photo. So this was different for me. But I counted that really I have not built my business off of becoming proof the products work, right? Like I certainly am proof the products work. I share my workouts each day, and on occasion I'll show a picture of my shake or whatever. But I've actually built my business off of being proof the personal development works, okay? Not sweaty selfies. So these are the types of posts that I do make, right? These are the types of things that if you were to scroll my Facebook page, you would see, okay? These are just a few examples. So, I posted simply, the little action where you can say, this is how I'm feeling. I posted I was feeling grateful, and I showed a picture of my grateful tank, okay? Yes, you could say, some people could say like, oh, but you're also showing off your like muscle tone definition. Maybe, but I feel like it was more important for me, even if that shirt was long sleeved, to just point to a grateful statement. The picture at the bottom, be the change you wish to see in the world. Kind of similar to what I'm talking to you guys about today. I heard on a podcast, Shalene talking about if you want more passion, be more passionate. If you want to be a mentor yourself. If you want more affection, give affection. So I took that same concept that she's talking to on the podcast, I repurposed it in my own post, right? So I'm sharing the personal development that I'm absorbing every day with my followers. And then of course, this is my coach, Katie, super excited to receive a book that I sent her in the mail. Also easy to find those types of posts on my page as well. So people know that I'm proof the personal development works. People who've been following me now for 6 years, are inspired by the journey that I've had, not just in my health and fitness, but because of who I am as a leader. So here are my actual suggestions for you for moving your business forward and actually engaging in that abstract concept of personal development. So these are just some sort of, I mean, I could just stand up here and say, read 10 minutes a day, listen to a podcast 10 minutes a day. But if you really want to move your business forward, if this is like your jam, like you want to take this coaching thing full time, you want to become the best leader that you can be, you're not just in it for a discount. If you're working this business, you got to be working on yourself. And these are the ways that I've been doing that have worked well for me. The first thing is I'm an Amazon Prime member. Okay. At this point, the actual person who delivers my Amazon boxes also delivers a milk bone for my dog. And my dog is now like 10 pounds overweight. So that should tell you how many times I order books. I get at least 2 books per month. I would suggest you order at least 1 to 2 per month, plan on reading them. And then of course, order your next set the next month. SoundBots is this little cool speaker thing that you can actually, it's like $10, $15. You can put it in your shower. It's waterproof and it's like a Bluetooth speaker. So it sticks to the side of your shower. I can play a podcast while I'm in the shower, which is, by the way, when I think the best. And I can listen to that podcast while I'm washing my hair. So that's just a really great way to kind of save time and be learning while you're doing something very routine. There's an app called If This Then That. If you search it in the App Store, it comes up as IFTT. And it's actually like a habit trigger app. So one thing that I have it set to do is I have a Bluetooth system in my car. So when I get into my Jeep, I have it set in my app so that when I start the ignition of my Jeep, a podcast will play. So whatever podcast I have in the queue, it will automatically play on my speakers. So I don't get halfway to the mall or halfway to a lunch appointment and realize that there's music on the radio and I could have been listening to something better. So this just kind of automatically makes me have a trigger for my personal development. Also, I participate in masterminds. I do masterminds with my team. We typically choose a book that we want to talk about. I have a life coach personally who leads our team masterminds. I also meet with my life coach one-on-one a couple times a month, and she also leads masterminds for local groups as well. So I participate in those. And then, of course, this might seem really simple, but a gratitude journal can go a really long way, especially if you have negative thought habits, if you tend to kind of be down on yourself or compare yourself to others. Starting every day and or ending every day with gratitude is a really great place to start because it centers you and it helps you come from a good place. So those are just some things that I do and use every single day that I feel have been great lifestyle changes in the realm of PD. Okay, so here's how I recommend incorporating personal development into your team's culture. So we here with Body Electric already have a great team culture that's centered profoundly on personal development. But for those that I'm going to be sharing this with on Sunday, not everybody has that atmosphere with their team. So I want to make sure that I share that with them. So some things that I do is I send books in the mail, kind of like you saw the picture of Katie holding the book. I send the books in the mail. Sometimes sometimes because they've achieved 3 Lives Club, sometimes just when they become new coaches. So I'm just always at the post office and I'm always getting Amazon boxes. It's just something that I like to gift away because I feel like I'm gifting away growth, which is pretty awesome. We have a podcast group on Facebook for Body Electric, so for my team, where coaches share whatever podcast they've heard that they really liked. So probably like 4 or 5 times a week, a coach on our team will say, hey guys, I listened to this one. It's so good. If you're struggling with XYZ, you got to check this out. So it's a really great way to kind of filter the world of podcasts down to the ones that we kind of already feel like are good ones to spend our time on. We've incorporated inspiration as a check-in point with our challenge groups. So in other words, people are checking in with their workout. They're checking in with their Shakeology when they've had their Shakeology, and they're also checking in with what inspires them for the day. So it's really cool to kind of see what people come up with, because if you're leading a 30-day group, these people really have to think outside the box. They have to come from a place of gratitude to always have something inspiring them every day. So it gets your challengers thinking about gratitude, thinking about making a positive difference, and kind of having that almost coach philosophy of growing themselves. Okay, so incorporate books and podcasts into your challenge groups. We've done at least one challenge group as a team where we utilize a book as sort of an extra component of the challenge group. It was an optional component for people to kind of read a certain book along with the program. And then, of course, keep personal development a relevant topic in your team page, right? Like share motivation in your team page, share what you're reading, ask coaches what they're reading and ask them to share it. And then last but not least, maybe consider having some team masterminds focused on a particular book. So whether it's John Maxwell or something else, like you could have sort of a virtual book club surrounding a particular book. What I've found for me and for our team is that when you have those types of things, you can dive so much deeper than if you're just reading it on your own. You can kind of reflect more, hear other people's input, maybe see things a little differently. So it's a really great way to kind of move your PD in the right direction. So last but not least, this is a sort of a day in my life. I made a post about this recently that got a lot of good traction, and so I thought maybe it would be something good to share. I've approximated that I typically spend about 27 hours per week working my business as a coach. So full-time coach, 27 hours a week sure beats the 45 hours a week I was working at my full-time corporate job before. So I work about 27 hours per week on my job, and I would say that I spend at least 15 hours of those 27 on me. So I'm spending, more than half of the time that I spend on my business working on myself. So every single day I listen to at least one podcast. I read at least 30 minutes. It's usually 60 minutes out of a book that's on my nightstand. And I gratitude journal. I have a gratitude journal on my nightstand. So I do that at least when I go to bed, sometimes when I wake up in the morning as well. And then every week, on a weekly basis, I participate in masterminds, one with my team and then one locally with my life coach. And then every other week, I meet one-on-one with my life coach as well, so that we can really dive into my personal needs. And then, of course, my goal for this year is to attend some form of seminar outside of Beachbody, whether it's John Maxwell or, somebody, some sort of author or amazing PD specialty. I want to try to attend a seminar with those folks at least quarterly this year. So really, I think that what we have to offer in this business is so much more than just fitness and health. And until you embrace that idea, and until you embrace getting uncomfortable and kind of moving through your terror barrier, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck in this business. Okay, so here I have a video for you from Jim Rohn that I'm going to play. So let's go ahead and roll that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it here in the Zoom app. This is a video that I can actually post on our team page as well, where it's just Jim Rohn basically saying that you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So rather than worry so much about your sweaty selfies and the color of frame that you put on a photo, worry instead about improving yourself, and your business will move forward. So that is all I have for today. Thought this was funny to wrap up with, but it's really important that you just understand that it's the thing that you don't want to do that you need to be doing, right? Like, how many people do I know? I own a P90X studio, so almost everybody enrolls in 90 days of P90X, and almost everyone skips the yoga. Why do they skip the yoga? Because they don't like it, because it's hard, because it's slower, because their body isn't very flexible, and they just don't like it. But what is the one thing that they need the most? Yoga, right? They need the yoga because they're too tight. Their body's too tight all over. They're going to injure themselves. They need the yoga. The same thing goes for this business. If you're not working on yourself, if you're not doing the uncomfortable thing, pushing through the terror barrier, raising your lid, raising your level of expectations for yourself, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be injured, right? Same concept. So as a recap, just remember that you bring the energy to every conversation that you have, whether it's through social media or in person. What you want more of, you have to give. And by not moving forward and continuously facing the terror barrier, you're holding yourself back. You're like that horse tied to a plastic chair. You're holding yourself back. People are attracted more to your growth than they are to your body. Your six-pack does not matter as much as your mind, as much as the way you can connect with other people. Last but not least, to help you get stronger every day, you have to become stronger every day. To help people who are looking to you for leadership and guidance and coaching, you have to be improving yourself every single day. You have to become stronger every day. So with that, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Thank you guys, Body Electric, for listening to my practice round of Sunday's presentation. I hope it was helpful for you. This will be available on our team website, so you can check it out there. Please let me know if you have any questions. We do actually have a recommended reading list and maybe even a podcast list on our team website in the documents section, so please take a moment to check that out. If you're not reading something right now, I need you to start reading something. You've got to start immersing yourself in personal development. So thanks so much, guys, for being on, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.